Now let's talk about the sign parameter. Here is an example. I'm using the format method to print the same number twice. In the first curly bracket, my specification is 5.3f. I'm asking Python to print a floating point number with 3 digits of accuracy. In the second curly bracket, I added a plus sign in front of the 5.3f. So the only difference between these two is that there is a plus sign in front of the 5.3f. And as you can see, if I run this program, the output would be x is equal 9.670 space and space, y is equal plus 9.670. Let's see why this happens. The plus sign here is the sign parameter, and the meaning of the sign parameter is that you want to force the number to have a sign. Remember that in general, if you have a number which is a negative number, Python always prints the negative sign in front of it. However, if you have a number which is a positive number, then Python usually does not print a plus sign in front of it, unless you force it by putting a plus sign before the number. Also, you can put a space in your format, and in this case, your sign is a space. Space means that you want a space in front of the positive numbers and a negative sign in front of the negative numbers. And this is usually used when you want to align positive and negative numbers without having a sign for the positive numbers. As you can see in the second example, even though my argument is the same, however, in the second string inside the curly bracket, I have included a space which basically forces Python to put a space before the number. So when the output is printed, you see that the output says x equal 427 and y equal to space 427. And that space is forced by the fact that you put a space before your format specification. Here is the table for sign symbols in format method. The plus sign means that you are forcing Python to put a plus symbol before positive numbers. And of course, there is always a negative symbol before the negative numbers. The negative sign is the default. That means if the number is negative, you put a negative sign, and if it is positive, you put nothing. The space means that a leading space should be used on positive numbers. Now that you have seen the examples of fill, align, and sign, let me give you an example which includes all the parameters that you have learned so far. After opening the curly bracket is the position parameter, which specifies the position of the argument that will be used for that field. Then you put a colon after that. The next character is a fill character. This can be any character that you want. The next symbol stands for the alignment. And remember, the less than sign means left align, the greater than sign means right align, and caret means center align. There are other alignment parameters that you can look at the table and experiment with them. The next parameter is the sign parameter, which can be either plus or minus or a space. The next one is the width character, which specifies the minimum width of the field when the value of the argument is going to go. The next parameter, which is usually used for floating point numbers, determines the number of digits after the decimal point. Remember that the precision parameter always is following a dot. And the next parameter is the type that you specify. So far, you know about integers, floating point numbers, and strings. What did you learn in this lesson? You learned how to specify fill, align, and sign parameters which are used in format method in Python.